Awesome. Aloha, everyone. It's Kamaile, and it's so nice to be on this call once again in this new hours. Please do apologize for not being able to make it fit, but I'm glad today I got a chance to make it work, and I'm super excited to not only introduce my dear friend, Miss MH Toth, but we're going to go over objections today again, and just the momentum. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with some announcements, and thank you to the very well organized team leaders of MBA, which is Susan and Jamie. I'm like, how do we know all this? But anyway, okay, so obviously this Saturday, you guys, we're going to definitely want to either get together or make sure that we're uplifting one another. We're tuning in to the live event if you can. I know that here in Hawaii, we're going to kind of postpone the event and actually tune in a couple hours later just so that it's at a decent time. But this Saturday is LV Academy, and it starts at, I want to say, 5 a.m. For us here in Hawaii, Mountain Time. So Mountain Time, that makes it 4 hours. That's 9 a.m., correct, Mountain Time. So adjust accordingly to your calendars and your time zone, and so that you can make sure to plug in. I kid you not, you guys, I literally from week to week, sometimes, especially in these slower months, especially as we're moving into a busier, family time as the summertime comes on, we definitely want to make sure that we're plugging in and we're not losing our momentum and our enthusiasm. It's kind of like showing up for, your work meeting that's mandatory, so that you just are fed all of this goodness, all of this wonderful information, so to help you to posture better, to continue to ride out the everyday momentum that we need to really keep the caboose moving. So outside of this weekend, of course, we have some Axio flavors that are launching June 16th. Whoop, whoop. I know that strawberry is one of them, because MH and I are strawberry fans, and we were the recipients of being winners of part of our little incentive that we had corporate wise. And so we got a free little thing, and I can't wait for you guys to get that back on your shelves as well and in your cups. So I love that MH actually couples, and she does the low calf. So she does a little strawberry and a little raspberry little thing going on there. So make up your concoctions and enjoy and have fun. Elite Academy, July 10th. So again, if you're not registered, you definitely want to register ahead of time, not only to save money, but also certainly to plug into the goodness that is going to be happening there. July 10th, make sure that you're marking it on your calendars, planning for any babysitters and or arrangements, so that you can really focus and tune in. It's huge. You have an opportunity. Yep.
Kamaile, with the July 10th, they
Yep.
still have the opportunity the rest of this month to buy the new skincare products.
Oh,
until the end of this month.
Wonderful news.
Until while supplies last.
Okay. I thought that maybe we were completely out of that. And if you haven't already received that and gotten it from when you registered initially, it is the bomb, you guys. The CBD coupled with the NRF2 technology, I've heard some really amazing testimonies already with aches and pains, and just kind of even with the deodorant, the lotion I heard is just really scrumptious. So certainly get in on all of that, that deal that you get there, where if you purchase that, you get your $79, it's $79, right? $79 admission to the convention, to the Elite Academy on July 10th, basically for free. So anytime anybody's signing me up to save to $80, I'm there. So, okay. And then on top of that, we get to text LFVN 4848 to get updates to our phone about Level Up. I didn't even know this, Probably because I get those updates all the time, so I just assume that, it's just something that's being provided. But if you're not already receiving those updates and you would like to get some level up information about who's speaking, what to expect for that lineup, definitely text that LFVN 4848 to get the updates on your own phone. And I love this. We're doing a promotion company wide to actually get back our customers. That is truly a beautiful pool of wealth that we have sitting there, that either have lost their subscription or possibly we want to, entice to get to try other products out if you haven't even tapped that. But instead of working so hard to get a new customer, sometimes it's nice to really make sure that we're touching base and staying in touch with our current customers and or our past customers. Maybe something has changed in their lives where they certainly need this again. So to win back our NRF2 customers, we're doing Activate Wednesdays, and they can actually receive a $10 off uh, coupon, at the point of checkout in order for them to at least get an NRF2 on their subscription, if not more. And then, of course, hopefully we'll get them to stay with us and stay the course. If you haven't already, and I know I'm sorry about this, but hi, Mary, if you haven't already noticed, one of our team members on our larger team actually provided a really beautiful mock-up of what she does when, as far as her own customer service goes. And she sends out these little cute things that says, do you know by this time you've been on it for 30 days and this is what's going on in your body? Do you know that da 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 da? And it really helps to keep them engaged. So that folder is available to you, and I'll post it up in our WhatsApp as well as our team Mind Body Aloha if you choose to use that. But excellent resource to make sure that we have a pulse on and saying mahalo to all of our not only existing customers but our new customers that we're bringing on board. So okay, and lastly, body care packages go on sale June 1st for the public. So upcoming this weekend, again, just to reiterate, we have that on Saturday. We also have our men's health call. I'm not quite sure if we're still going to host that this weekend, so we'll double check and make sure to post that. And if you need to find anything, make sure that you're checking in with WhatsApp, Facebook, and or your back office. So I hope everyone has got this on their calendars and has downloaded the Team Mind Body Aloha calendar, and that way it just pops up and reminds you on that Google calendar. So without further ado, I don't know if we need an introduction because we all know MH quite well, and I love the way her mind thinks. I love the way that she's quick on her toes, but also quick to really give notice to a moment of pause so that she is in the skill set of really listening. And when you were listening, we realized that the questions are the answers, right? And so we're going to be learning all about that, and something that we get quite often, objections, And so we're going into the psychology of objections today. MH.
Oh, I'll put that sociology degree to work from my West Point sociology degree, huh? Let me pull my notes up. I'll tell you the best way to overcome an objection is to stop it before it starts. And the main things I've learned in sales is that people are going to feed off of your confidence, and they are going to purchase things when they're uncomfortable. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. But most of all, we need clarity. And as I started, people, they're going to buy your confidence in the products and in them using them. And in order for you to have confidence, you've got to have clarity. And that means you understand how our products can benefit them. And your research, your homework, because I'm always going to give you homework, is to research your customer before the call and to keep being a student of the products. especially now that we've got these new ones coming out, because the more confidence you have in the products and in their use of them, the more likely they're going to be to believe you and purchase. Now here, I can't even do my slides correctly, so hang on just a second. When people are actually asking the question themselves, you know, is this product going to work? Is it going to work for me? Am I going to do the work? That's where you're going to give them confidence. But before your call, I want you to do research. This is where you're stopping the objection before it starts. So what I do with people is I let them know we're going to have a discussion in regards to their health goals, and so that I can create a customized strategy tailored to their needs. And we'll go into this in detail, but just off the top of your head, you know, is there a specific issue that I can research for you? And so they give me something and I go do my homework on pubmed.gov. I go into Activating You and I look up testimonials. And if they're really cool and kind of detailed, I'll send it to them before the call. But otherwise, I come to that call prepared. And people, when they're purchasing things, a lot of times people talk about sales, and I don't like to call myself a salesperson. I like to call myself a problem solver, because people will pay to have their problem solved. So that's where, like Kamali said at the beginning, your job is to listen and to be curious and to figure out what their problem is and make them uncomfortable in the process. How long have you battled this? How does that make you feel? How is this impacting your life with your kids and your spouse, not being able to, you know, get out of bed, not being able to play with them, having headaches, you know, 10 times a month? What is that? Is that impacting you at all? Kind of dig in there a little bit. And that's uncomfortable. That's a big sales tool that I had to learn and grow that muscle, but it makes them pay attention. Because unfortunately, many times people get to a stage in life where pain is just normal. They consider it normal. The headaches are just normal. Not having the energy in the afternoon is just normal. And I'll tell you what, it's not normal. And we know that there's a better way. And so your job is to figure out what that pain point is so that you understand, and then identify how you can give them hope and share the right tool. But again, that's overcoming the objection before it happens. When the objections happen, okay, let's move into that. Let's talk about some common objections. And I mentioned them earlier when I couldn't find my notes. One, people want to know, is this going to work for me? And the way you combat that is you validate with scientific research and testimonials. This is how it's working for other people. It works. Here's pictures. Now, the doctors say you do need to be on this for a month for every decade of life. So just because you take one pill doesn't mean you're going to magically feel better tomorrow. So this may take some time. And guess what? There's a thing called cellular autophagy, which means that your cells are going to clean up, and sometimes it's uncomfortable. Just like when you're exercising, you know, a muscle breaks down, it gets sore, but then it builds back stronger. And I always give that analogy to them, and I kind of set that up for them, that it may take some time. But will this work for me? Absolutely, yes. You got a pet that's sick, you want to lose weight, you need some energy, you want to feel better, depending on whatever your disease is. That oxidative stress is scientifically, you know, we've got the history that shows that it impacts that. What's the other one? You've got skincare issues, you've got hair issues. I've got something to help you out, right? I just got to figure out what those problems are ahead of time. Will this work for me? Absolutely, yes. You see how clear I am and confident? Absolutely. Another objection is, will I do the work? These are not what people are going to say to you, but this is what they're thinking. And so I ask patterns of their lifestyle, and then I simplify it for them. So again, I emphasize the pain, like, and I'll talk about that in just a second, but it's very easy. Take this in the morning with food. Take them all at the same time. Drink lots of water. It's a packet. It's so easy, so simple, right? This is not hard. You can do this. But then I like to talk about emphasizing the pain again. And I'll say, well, what's going to happen if you don't do this? Because I understand right now your plan A, it's not working the way you want it to. So if you're not going to do these products, and I understand this is your choice, maybe it's not the right time or the finances, whatever your reason is, what is your plan B? What are you going to do instead? Because I would hate for 1, 2, 6, 12 months to go by and we're on this call again and nothing has gotten better. And absolutely what would make me even sicker is if things have gotten worse. You know, the best time to do this would be 10 years ago. Second best time is now. So what is your plan? I'm just curious. Because, you know, this is a money back guarantee. We've got free shipping and I've got $10 off for you. You know, let's get you started today. Another objection, why does this seem like a magic pill? And I've never heard of it before. Why doesn't my doctor recommend this? And I used a quote from Sam Allen and I say, oh, this is not a miracle pill. We're just activating our miracle bodies. And you know what? I'd love to talk to your doctor. I'd be more than happy to share. Here's some clinical studies in an email to share with them, right? Because unfortunately, this is new. This science is where, and research is where cancer studies were way back in the 60s. So we're spreading the message as fast as we can. Why are you trying to make money off me as your friend? Okay, nobody's actually told me that. And I say, no, I don't want to make money off of you. I want to make money with you. Why don't you join my team? Right? I offer discounts and incentives. You know, that's just kind of a silly one in there. Many times it's too expensive. And I say, I understand, budgets are a reality. And that's why at the beginning, I started off with good, better, best. And I told you what I believe would be best for you right now. But I understand if it's not in the budget, let's look at something lower. And you know what? You're not going to have to be on these forever. We'll titrate down as your body is changing over time. But bare minimum, we've got to get you on Protandim NRF2 and most likely on the probiotic as well, depending on their personal situation. And then I also talk about, you know, if we don't invest in our health now, we're going to be investing in it later. And unfortunately, we're not going to have that health span, that lifespan that was actually healthy and active in the interim. The third thing I want to talk about is going for the no. And I want to help you reframe this. I want you to see it as a victory when you get a no, or when you hit that boundary, or when you hit that hard line. That's why I offer the different packages. I never assume what someone might be able to afford. I just go for what they need. And then they're going to tell me that boundary. So you find out what their budget really is. Because again, I've emphasized the pain. I've given them hope. Here's a potential solution. What do they really want to go after right now? And how much does it mean to them? Some of the testimonies I've seen, especially like with some of the Lyme patients, I mean, some people would be willing to spend anything to feel better, to sleep better, to have the pain go away. And again, we can't claim that we cure, treat, mitigate disease, but we can share the testimonials. Again, going for the no. Okay, well, if not now, then when? Because you told me, again, I'm going to talk about what they told me because I listened. You told me that you never sleep. You told me that the weight just keeps piling on. You told me that your kid, this, that, and the other. I care for you a ton. I can't take these pills for you, but I sure will help you get started. So I tell you what, I understand that, you know, if they push back on you again, I understand it's a no for now. And I put that I put that language into their mind. It's a no for now. But I sure would like to help you get started when it is the right time. Should I check back with you in a week or a month? And you get them to agree to a time frame. You get them to commit. Because I'll tell you what, if you're a professional procrastinator like me, it only takes a minute if you wait till the last minute, right? When I have a deadline, I know I have to do it. And they know they're going to have to talk to you again. So I say, okay, well, let's plan on 4th of June in the afternoon. I'm going to pencil that in on my calendar and I'll check back with you a couple days before that, just so we can confirm the time. So that lets them know that, one, let's be professionals, right? I'm setting aside this time for you. I set aside this time for you tonight, right? I'm not spending it with my kids. I'm not spending it resting. I'm not spending it exercising. I'm investing in you because I care about you and your health. And we spent this time to talk about it. I've given you a solution. You're telling me the time is not now. Okay, I understand, but let's set a second date. And you know what? I'm going to send you some Axio, or I'm going to send you some fish oil or some probiotic samples to try as well in the meantime. just because psychology says if you give someone a gift, they feel like they owe you. And one, my love language is gifts. So I genuinely do like to send gifts. And when I send them, like I've got all these cards right now that are getting ready to go out to people. When I send them, I put stickers on the package and I put stickers on the cards because people like snail mail and people like to receive gifts. So I'm not necessarily doing it to guilt them into purchasing something, but I'm letting them think about me and remembering about the products in the meantime. And maybe I'll print out a little bit more of the studies to put there as well. And when you're doing this, I want to caution you, I want you to check your heart, because if your heart is really for helping them get better, they're going to feel that. And if your heart is leaning towards greed and wanting to make that sale or wanting to make that next rank, they're going to feel that too. So just be genuine and really consider why you're doing this each time you get on the call. Let's see. Oh, and part of the reason I share that is one of the things that Jamie has shared on calls before is that sometimes at the beginning, he had shared with people, hey, I'm starting my business. You'd really help me out if you made a purchase. And unfortunately, those people didn't necessarily stay long-term customers. And so that's something I kind of just stuck in my head and learned from him, and really tried to think about when I'm doing this, try to get on, you're not just helping me as a business, but let's help you. Let's focus on you and let's focus on your health needs. All right, going back to getting to that no. No is a victory. Right? One, I'm proud of you because it's hard. It's hard to not get what you want. It's hard to not close a sale. It took guts. It took courage to ask. It's rejection. It's rejection. But we're going to reframe that. Okay. It's a win because you were brave. You were bold. You shared. You told them what they needed and they made a choice. I'm going to tell you about my daughter. She's 19. She's getting ready to move out in a week. And when she was in 7th grade, they had that competition where if you peddle enough frozen cookie dough buckets, you get to ride in a limousine. And boy, her eyes lit up. She's like, Mom, let's go. We would walk that neighborhood, every single door. They'd say no. She's like, oh, that's just one more door closer to a yes. Every single time they'd say no, 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 no. She's like, okay, that's all right. Next one's going to say yes, maybe. And enough people said yes. And she earned that limousine ride. So again, go back to your goals. Why are you doing this? And it's true. When you hit the no, you can rejoice because you're brave and you asked, and you can recognize that you're going to be one step closer to a yes. All right, so I'm going to ask you, Kamaile and Mary, we're going to stop right now, and I want you to tell me, did you do your MBTI? Do you know your homework? I'm doing a homework check.
I don't know my homework.
Oh, it was from a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you saw it. It was Myers-Briggs, the personality. Have you done that? Yeah. Do you know what you are?
I do. I actually took it probably close to 30, probably even close to, no, probably 30 something years ago. And I'm an ENFP.
Oh, me too.
I know you are. And somebody on this call is an INFP.
That's right. She sure is.
Quiet over there. Yeah.
Mary's an INFP, so we're intuitive. Are you going to talk? Did I talk over you? I'm sorry. No? Okay. Well, we're intuitive. We're feelers. The extroverts we get energy from people. We're perceiving. We're open. So the reason I brought that up is that when I'm talking to people and I'm going for the no, I try to get an idea of what their personality is, right? The systematic people, the thinkers, and the judgers, they want the statistics and they want the research, right? And the feelers, they might be more open to the testimonials and the videos and the stories. And so some people I'll be funny with, and other people I'll share pictures, others I'll share research. With Iz Garcia, he came on just about a month ago as a distributor, and I had gone after him for a year sharing because I knew how much the products would benefit him. And I think he might be an ENFP or ENFJ or something like that as well. And I'm like, I told him, I said, I'm just going to keep inviting you until you say yes or you slam that door in my face. So most people I'm not going to be that bold with, right? But the people that you go for the no in whatever way they're going to receive it.
So I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
I have heard this over and over again, and there's a couple different approaches in regards to helping to really understand people's languages before you really get engage in a conversation with them. You know, one being kind of a general basis is know their love language, or two, what was the other one? There was another test that one of my coaches actually uses, and they kind of categorize people of, you know, they can tell by almost look. Are they the flashy, outgoing person? You know, are they the staunch? You know, and so it definitely helps to play into understanding and knowing who you're speaking to, and even learning from our Kumu. Susan and I share the same Lomi teacher. He always said you have to understand your timeline of where people are on in their timeline, so that you can always, you know, speak to them. Because if you're speaking to them and they're in this timeline, and they know only this, and they're only speaking this language, it doesn't really help you to go back, 50, even 10 years sometimes, to talk about the way things were or whatever in regards to the conversation that you can have with them, correct? So my question therefore is, how do you, without knowing them, maybe you're just touching base with them after a really long time, or you're really doing your research on Facebook, or, things to pick up little cues. How do you surmise whether or not they are, this, that, or the other thing, if you really don't know, I mean, you can kind of make some guesses, and I don't know if a guess is better than just shooting blind in the dark. But is there any tools that you have for us to just really help to narrow down some of the characteristics that you look for, or the cues that you listen for, that will help you to continue the conversation with them in the way that they would best receive that information?
Sure. Yeah. I ask questions and I listen to the answers. So the first one, in regards to what you asked, I would say, I just want to know, are you a visual learner or are you an audio learner? And so if they're visual, I'll show slides. If they're audio, I might share some of the teachings that they can listen to beforehand. And the nice thing about Zoom is it's both, and I can do both at the same time. And then I'll say, I just kind of mentioned, I'm like, I've got some testimonies I can share from you. And I've also got some really deep dives into the science. Do you want to see some of the studies? And it's written, for medical professionals. I'm more than happy to get that for you, or I can just share some testimonies and we can talk about them, or I can copy and paste some testimonies for you. So it's based on their level of need. Some people know me and trust me, and they're just going to take my word for it. Others, they want to see pictures. They want to see before and after. And so I'll share that. And others are the STJs, which is the opposite of me. And they want all those details and all that research, right? And so even when I'm sharing videos, I'll say, here's a 6-minute overview of the science. And if you get a chance to watch that, or when you're done watching that, if you're interested in a deeper dive into the science, I can share a 30-minute gut class, or I can share an hour class from one of the MDs in our company. You just tell me if you'd like to learn more, or if we should go ahead and schedule the call. So that's kind of what I would say.
And those questions probably lend also credibility to the fact that you're actually showing up for them. They probably feel
Yes.
important that you're actually asking those questions, right?
Yeah, because it's genuinely tailored to them. Now we're going to go a little long. Do you have a hard stop or?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Keep
All right.
on.
I've got a little bit more to cover.
Yep. Go for it.
But this is good info, right? Because this is what's uncomfortable. This is why people procrastinate. This is why we only invite and we don't follow up, because we're so afraid of the no. So we're going to let go of that fear, because you know what? This is the next point. It's not a no forever. It's just a no for now. And this is where you go back and you get that pre-commitment for the next check-in because the door is still open. Now, some people will slam the door in your face. And again, that's a win, right? Because it's a no and you're not going to waste any more time on them, right? And 2 years later, they might be knocking on your door because they've creeped on you on Facebook and they're like, oh, hey, I really want to learn about that little yellow activator, right? But that's okay. Let them come to you. You try, and they slam the door on your face. And I had someone do that. Like I shared and I said, would you like me to send more, or would you like any more information? Like, no, I'm not interested at all. Thank you very much. And I said, okay, well, thank you for letting me know. I don't take it personal. I know I have something to share, and I'm going to tell you something at the end of this talk today, and you'll understand why I feel the way I feel, but it's their choice. And I did my job. They shut the door. I can't open a door that they shut that only has a handle on the inside. But again, a no is a not now for most of them. No is not, I reject you. And that's where you're going to have to, this is why doing this type of business is a lot of personal work. This is not about you and being rejected. This is about them. And so this is a reality check, right? It's just being humble, and it's either their fear that this won't work for them, they won't do the work, or like one of my people, their work site is flooded, COVID's impacting them, they've got problems with the job search, the pay is delayed. It's really a no for now, and they do come back to you later. So again, when the focus is on what problem can I solve for you to make your life easier, they're going to come back to you. So that's got to be the focus of what you're doing. I'm not trying to sell you something. I'm trying to help you solve a problem with this amazing tool that I have. And so this is what I'll say. Wonderful. Like, always do a positive, right? Thank you for letting me know. Wonderful. Well, our company is constantly receiving new research and releasing new products. Would you be interested if something new comes out that applies to your situation? Can I share that with you in the future? And then I watch them on social media, and people post things, and they might trigger something where you can share, hey, I see you've got a backache. We have a new line that has ointment with CBD and NRF2. Would you be interested in learning more? The next one I want to talk about are no-shows. I hate no-shows. I hate them because it's stealing time. And if you've been 100% commission business, like I've been for a very long time, it's a soul crusher. It really is. And I'm going to talk about how I handle that. So first of all, you need to be in control of the schedule. So if the appointment was made a couple of days ago, send a text or messenger as a reminder, right? We are all busy, and sometimes we forget because we are all human. Use whatever mode they had before because you've got that history, you've got the tracking, and just say, hey, I'm looking forward to our Zoom. I've blocked this time on my calendar for you. Here's the link. See you then, or something like that, right? When they're late, I give grace. Right? We have to give grace in life. And after about 5 minutes or so, 5 to 7 minutes, I send a text or an email or a messenger and say, hey, are we still on for today? I had us scheduled at 2 p.m. Eastern. And if appropriate, I'll say, but maybe I messed up the time zones. Does today still work for you? If it's 15 minutes, I don't go past 15 minutes. I'm a single mom, 3 kids. I don't have time to sit around. And at 15 minutes, I send a text or an email and I say, so sorry we missed each other today. I was really looking forward to reconnecting, hearing about Susie, learning more about, what's going on in your life. I hope everything is okay. Do you want to reschedule for the same time tomorrow, or should we look into next week? I'm going to need to block the time on my calendar, so I want to make sure we find a time that works well for you. And I can post these scripts underneath this, so y'all can use my words if you want to. The other thing I want to talk about in regards to your mindset with no-shows is managing expectations. This is another thing with sales is A lot of times we think they tell us they're going to buy and we're going to have this appointment, and then they no show, and it crushes you because they were your fifth person and it's the last day of the month. Right. And so in your mind, you've already done that sale. We got to reframe that. I got to teach you something. Here's what actual sale is. It's when you get that email from LifeVantage that says, congratulations, you've got a new customer. Congratulations, you've got a new distributor. That's when your sale's complete. So don't count it until you get that. Okay, ghosting. Okay, all right, so I'm divorced and I date, and I've been ghosted on a date once, and I'm like, what is this? This is insane. I don't even know why people do this. And in business, in LifeVantage, it's happened once as well. I don't get it. I wish people would grow up. I don't know. I guess they just can't handle conflict. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. But when someone ghosts me, I move them to like monthly contact. And if they don't respond at all, I just let go. I might try, in a few months if something new has come out, but you have to preserve your mental and your emotional energy more than anything in this business. So go after the low hanging fruit, follow the positive people. It's actually best when people chase you. I had someone I hadn't talked to in 20 years who contacted me the other day in Messenger and said, what is this little yellow activator thing? I'm like, who? I don't know who this person is, because their name was different. And she's like, hey, it's Rachel. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, well, let's do a Zoom tomorrow and I'll answer your questions. And she's never on Facebook. She just happened to see a little video blurb that I did, and she bought a Tri-Synergizer. So, that's the best, is when they chase you. Okay. Another question is this an MLM? Absolutely. It's one of the best ones I've ever seen. Out of the 4,000 on the market, it's one of 20. It's publicly traded. We have 18 million in the bank and zero debt. That is what I say. And best of all, this company holds a sole license to distribute these patented herbal products. So you literally can't buy it anywhere else. Because I used to sell Mary Kay. I used to sell Longaberger. I used to sell Rodan and Fields. You name it, for the discount, I've done it, right? Oils.
Okay, for those of us that actually talk in normal speed, can you tell us again that first initial?
Sorry.
Just a minute.
Okay.
What you say? Yeah.
Yes. Is this an MLM? Absolutely. And it's the best one I've ever seen. Of the 4,000 on the market, it's one of 20 that's publicly traded. We've got 18 million in the bank and zero debt. But best of all, this company holds a sole license to distribute these products, so you literally cannot get them anywhere else. And when I was talking about the other MLMs that I was excited to be a part of, and good for them, I think it's fantastic. The problem is you can go to the store and buy competing products. You cannot go to the store and buy competing products for our offerings. There is literally no comparison. And then another thing I'll do if they ask me that is, yeah, I'm curious, why do you ask? Does it really matter the format if the products work? So anyway, what I was gonna do, and we're kind of running short on time. If someone has objections they want me to brainstorm with them, just put a note in this feed underneath it, and I'll answer how I would respond to that. Well, actually, I've got like a little bit of time. Does anybody have anyone that they want to talk about? An objection that I haven't gone over yet?
So here's my quick dilemma. So I did something that I thought was brilliant at the time. For those that didn't show up to my launch, I sent a little follow-up video that I did was, under 10 minutes. And I really said, here I am. This is my new profession. This is how I'm shining my light into the world. And please, basically the message was, what I have is amazing. It was a little recap of kind of, a little overview of the launch, and how we actually propose it. And I just said, if you, know of anybody, and of course, if you, you yourself, might need me, please let me know. Worst mistake I could have ever made, because I just went like here's the gift, let me know when you open it, and I, and then I'll be there to take the picture, so now I'm kind of backpedaling, And we're not talking 5 people, we're talking 300 people that I, followed up with. I sent out 300 invites and then followed up with probably at least half of those to send out those videos. And so now I feel like, how do I re-engage the conversation? So it's not necessarily an objection, other than the objection that I've made for myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I would, the first thing I would do would just be like, hey, did you get a chance to watch it?
Yeah.
And what spoke to you the most about it? Because then you know if they watched it or not. And then, well, why did that speak to you? Are you fighting headaches? Are you doing this? What are you doing to treat that right now? I would, and unfortunately, it's going to take a little bit of digging to do that, but personalizing it to each one potentially.
And that's kind of, it really cued me to ask this question, because I feel like it's part of the ghosting. It's like,
It's very easy. Here, watch this.
yeah, yeah. And so there was no response, and some people were like, hey, thanks for thinking of me, and then others are just like, nothing.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to see kind of the dynamics, and you just wonder, on the other hand, how many people are being approached by many other friends that are also trying to really keep their hustle going so that they can survive in this economy slash the economy that we've been living in the last 10 years.
Yeah, I don't feel like this can be mass produced genuinely. I feel like you can do a launch, like you said, and when people are there in person, maybe you can scoop multiple fish in the net. But what I'm learning and tailoring and how I'm getting really big closes is really taking the time to listen and engage and share and connect, because I do have absolute confidence in these products. Um, and that actually leads me to the last part. If I answered your question, did I answer it? Okay. Is Mary still here? I can't even tell who's here. Okay. I'm going to have y'all close your eyes, because I'm going to do a visual exercise with you. So what I want you to do is imagine that you're out in a lifeboat in the ocean. And this isn't necessarily going to be the most fun experience, but I still want you to do it because it's important. Because the ship sank and we're not sure how many days it's going to be before help comes. And we know that these are shark infested waters. You don't see them yet, but you know they're out there. And you're friends, and a lot of people are actually in the water. Now, these sharks are the economy, debt, 9-to-5 jobs, plus the second one that's barely paying the bills. And the big sharks, they're oxidative stress, inflammation, heart disease, pain, sleeplessness, migraines. But the good news is we have a lifesaver in the boat. It's yellow, an oblong. And I want to know what you're going to do with it. You're welcome to open your eyes if you want. For some in the water, they may realize that the sharks are there, and they may realize they're drowning. And they're going to be so ready to grab onto that lifesaver. But you still have to get their attention and throw it to them. For others, they may realize they're swimming and getting tired, but they don't know that the sharks are there. They may take some convincing and prodding to get into the boat. You still have to throw that lifesaver to them. Others have floats, and they think they're going to get some good sun, and they don't even realize that their floaty has a hole in it and the sharks have a target on their back. You may not even pay attention to them as much because they have got those floaties, or they swim away from you when you try to toss them that lifesaver. My goal is to get people in that boat. And I want to tell you about someone who was literally in a boat with hammerhead sharks swimming underneath them. This is my Army mentor, Dan Frazier. We met at Fort Polk, and he was telling me that story about being in the Rangers in the aerial invasion of Panama during Operation Just Cause. And those hammerhead sharks were swimming under his boat in the Panama Canal. I was a butter bar at Fort Polk, and he adopted me as his little sister and would entertain me for hours with those stories. And his family lives about 90 minutes north of here in Michigan. I was thrilled after the Army, and we ran into each other here in Kalamazoo. And we kept meaning to reconnect. But tonight, I am full of regret because this afternoon I went to Dan's visitation. His funeral is going to be tomorrow. He was 42 years old, has a beautiful wife, 3 kids, and just met his first grandchild for the first time 6 weeks ago. And on Saturday, he died while working out in his garden. And I'm never going to know if that little yellow activator might have helped him. I've been a distributor for 14 months, and I only tried to half-heartedly toss him a life raft about a year ago. He and his wife seemed to be swimming just fine. So I didn't even get around to tossing it a second time. And I know I am not responsible for anyone's health and their life choices, but I have a tool. We have a tool that might help others. It is not our job to say no for them. Your persistence might be a lifesaver. So I want you to go for the no, so you don't never feel like I did today when I was hugging his wife, Kim, and their 25-year-old as they sobbed. And I was wondering, what if I had thrown that lifesaver one more time?
Blessings and silence. And thank you. Beautiful, beautiful. And we do have such a gift. And go for the no, guys. I'm going to leave it at that. I love you. I love you all. You mean so much to me. And thank you for accepting the life raft and really paddling in the boat with all of us. Because it means so much to me, whether or not we be hours and hours apart and miles apart. I do love and think of all of you quite often. And even if we're not in constant communication, you have touched my life and my heart in one way or another. And I know that it trickles down and around for all of us. And we do truly have a gift. So go for the no, guys. I love you. Thank you, Mary. And thank you, Mary, for being on. And we'll end it here, and we'll get that recording out as soon as possible. And yeah, reach out. We are definitely always a life raft, right?
Amen. Yeah. Love you.